Alright,
So
good. You
I
first.
just want to clear things out. Both streams. This is not criticism, like negative criticism. This is not a hateful thing towards Sabi or or let alone the entire development team of Outcome Memories. We
And
just wanted
then,
to give our official statement because we have not came out and said anything about it because we normally don't stream much often anymore, and we should, and we're planning on streaming the popularized game called Sonic.exe Outcome Memories. But
also, um, now, since... Is your intro over?
yeah.
Alright. I am also here to discuss the exact same topic, just... I don't... Nothing against the dev team at all. Like, this is... I'm only going to be speaking what I feel is the truth about the dev team, but nothing that's going to be... It might... It is going to sound a bit disrespectful, but I'm not going to try to put it in that light. I want to speak with clarity and truth, not with hate and violence. So would you...
So once again, on both streams, my stream and Goat Boss's stream, we do not condone the hate that the development team is getting of the Discord server, nor the Outcome Memories uh, developers. And we strongly advise you not to hate on Sabi, PR, and other people. This is just our own opinion, our own statement. And this is, like I said, this is going for both streams. I'm talking for both streams. I'm talking for me and Goat Boss. But for what I've seen right now,
All right.
things
Let
are
me
not looking too good.
let me stop.
And you, dude, by the way, you can interrupt me. I honestly
Okay,
don't
okay.
care.
Let
This
me
is a
stop you right there
statement.
real quick. Um we're going to start with the current controversy obviously, and then from once we talk about the dev team and their actions, then we'll move on to the current state of the game and the future of it. What we think the future is going to end up being.
And we could have two completely different opinions on what the future of the game is going to be.
And
Let
that's
me just point that
why
out. So this
I'm going to
is
let you go
just
first
completely
and let
statement
you talk
wise.
about what you want to talk about. I
Okay,
may
so
add in occasionally.
what I mainly want to talk about is the document that just came out, I
Yeah.
think about an hour or two ago.
And
It
I
was a Google
haven't...
document that was introduced from PR, posted it on the official Outcome Memories Discord server, and the points of interest in the document is Alat's correcting falsehoods, dispelling rumors, clarifying the truth, why Raven left, January 11th, Astronova and Raven, and their own statement. Now, from reading at least I'd say 10% of the document or whatever you want to do. By the way, I want to point this out. The document is 35 pages long. So it is a long document. They are taking this seriously. And if you guys don't know, Sabi is in a very bad mental state where he can't even look at Outcome Memories right now. And after that department, that temporary department, PR, no, Romeo, wasn't it Romeo?
Yeah. Romeo.
Romeo announced that they are shelving the game for all of the development team to get a break to mentally, like, get a comeback. Obviously, it's not going to stop our love for Outcome Memories. It is a fantastic game in general. We'll never stop loving it, nor will we ever hate it. But the state of Outcome Memories right now, it's alright. The game itself, there's still some bugs in there. Obviously, there's still going to be bugs. But the dev team is in complete shambles. Absolutely in shambles. So, so, by the way, we're not going off of a script or anything. The only thing that we're looking at is the document. And I'm gonna be completely honest. Things are not looking good for the development team. I do have high hopes that the development team will come back within the span of 4 to 7 months, for the most part. That is my rough estimate. There could be a complete difference between Go Boss's statement and my statement, but I don't really think it's going to be a complete difference. I think it's going to be similar statement-wise. Go Boss, if you want to jump in at any time, feel free to. Like,
I was just
you
gonna
don't need
wait
to.
till your part was over, and then I was gonna make comments on what you said.
So, real quick, I just want to point this out. Um, hold on, I'm trying to find it real quick.
Also, the reason why there is no gameplay right now, no gameplay footage that I'm showing right now, is because I'm still reading the document. It's a long ass document. I'm still reading it, trying to soak in all the information. I'm reading it as fast as I can.
Alright, so if any of you guys watched uh Altaz's video on her perspective of the development team, PR and Sabi, just a bunch of people said that in the video she gets many details wrong and provides highly inaccurate look into the development of Outcome Memories. They might have misproperly spelt that, reworded it, but I'm assuming they meant information. It is an important note that Altaz was not a regular developer on the team. She has never even met Raven personally. Everything he had to go off was completely on secondary accounts, leading to important details being misrepresented or completely fabricated. Now, on my point of view, it seems like Altaz is trying to do some part of manipulation of some sort, like small manipulation, trying to make the community be on her side more than it is on the entire development team. That's my perspective. I would like to hear what Go Boss's perspective is on that too.
I will
Hopefully
add
he has
on
the
to
same
that.
thing.
What I feel
Hopefully he
is
has the same thing of
what I
mine.
feel is that there's bullshit amongst everybody because multiple things were said, different things were said, conflicting things were said. There's just amongst all the bullshit, I think everybody's somewhat in bias in the entire development team. So what I
which
like to do is just read in between the lines, siphon out the information that doesn't make that contradicts, and then try to sort it out in a way that creates a story down the line. And once Braden's done talking about his side of things, then I'm gonna talk about my side of things.
so I want to add things onto his part. I do agree with what he says. It's like everybody's biased against each other. Everybody has, they point out, in my opinion, I think they might point out the more bad side of everybody instead of all the good side of everybody, which I don't really like. But I'm not going to go into details about my personal life, but I will say that there is somebody who basically has a, he is in my school. Um, he's been making up lies, saying he got shot in the leg twice. He owns a scat pack. He's just trying to fit in, and in general, nobody likes the guy. Like, everybody despises him. The teachers don't really like him, and that is depressing. That is sad. I feel like the teachers basically pity him because he acts that way, and he gets a bunch of hate for it that he deserves, but he doesn't feel like he deserves. Anyways, enough from my personal life. We're gonna go back to outcome memories. So another thing to add is they said that Fleetway, it's bet you it's been a while since you've heard that name. Fleetway was supposed to be in Outcome Memories supposedly a few days or a week or two after um the fucking hold on, let my brain try and think for a moment. It's supposed to be like a week or two after version point 2 comes out. But it's been, I think, 2 months now. Am I right about that? Am I
About two
right about
months out
that?
since what? The update?
Since they said that they were going to add
Adfleet.
Fleetway.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it was definitely a bit, maybe even a bit over 2 months. Yeah. It
that's
was
what I was.
definitely
That's
over
what.
2 months. It was about 3 months because this all kind of started around October when it was supposed to originally release, and we knew about Fleetway by then. So yeah, since he was announced to be in the game, it was about 3 months. Wait, October. Alright, so we go to
Four
November.
months.
Yeah, about 4 months now have passed.
So yeah, it can be. Understandably, it is difficult for them to try and multitask into school and just everything in their life. It's just hard for them. I really do get where their standpoint is right now, but I feel like some part of the party can do better and some part of the party cannot. But that is my own uh, unprofessional standpoint. But if Isaiah has anything to say, feel free to.
Alright, so may I go on to my side of what I think?
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll start all the way back to the beginning of where I think this all started. What I'm going to do is just say the story that I think happened within the dev team that eventually led up to this moment. where it all started was back in October, over where the delayed releases and all the hate started getting to them from the Outcome Memories community, which I do not condone
I
the
feel
hate,
like I feel
but
like
it wasn't
I feel like the
super
hate
bad
was like
then.
way before. I feel like the
Oh
hate
yeah, the heat was
was like
definitely a little bit before, but it wasn't nearly as bad. It started scaling. That's when it started scaling badly. That's when all truly started. Was
keep
back
in
in
mind
October.
this game Outcome Memories is turning 3 years old today.
Mhm.
If you guys don't know what Outcome Memories is, like I said, it's a Roblox game about Sonic.exe. It has really high graphics, might I add. For a bunch of teenagers, they did a really
Mhm.
good job in development of the game itself. But
I can agree with
the
that
bugs,
statement.
the bugs, the game in some parts is just made poorly. Um, Tripwire, or a lot of people would like to say Tails Doll, is extremely overpowered. The
Yeah,
there can be a
but
total of 10 mines, and I think each mine does like
Brayden.
30.
We'll get to that point. I'll get to that point in a second. We'll discuss it then. But right now, I want
Just
to
okay,
discuss.
so right now I'd say
Well,
just
let's get back on
explain.
topic. All
I
right.
would just
So,
say
like I said, it was
explain.
started all back in October. That's when the dev team started going into shambles. The update was being delayed. It was reasonable because that was just it was starting to get close to the end of the quarter by then, the school quarter. So I was like, okay, maybe there's some work to turn in and whatnot. So I thought, understandable. You're delaying the game a bit because schoolwork and whatnot, stress from the community. It's all very hard to maintain and do.
And understandable. I could understand why they're
Yeah, I
having a bunch of
understand that as well.
stress.
And then later on, during more towards the the very scuffed, well, not very scuffed, but the scuffed release of version 2. Once the scuffed version of version 2 got released, it started getting worse, much worse, because shortly after, we hear news about relationship issues within the dev team itself, which is not good.
I don't
Specifically,
specifically. I think it's
they
Astronova and PR or
Oh
something
yeah, I
like that.
forgot. Before what I was about to mention, there was the Astronova situation where they
So,
kind of got
just to,
mixed around. Oh
I
no,
want to
that's
say
the
this
one
real
that we need to
quick.
be talking about. Hold on. Um,
Real quick, I just want to say, I don't want to go into much detail out of due respect for their privacy. All I'm gonna say is Astronova and PR just had a bunch of relationship issues uh,
it was a
including a
bit
bunch of other
more
people.
in depth
It
than
was,
that.
but that's all I'm gonna say about
I would
them.
like to
Out of
elaborate a
due
little bit on
respect
that,
for, out of
but
due
like
respect for them, I'm
yeah,
not
and
gonna
out
go
of due
into
respect
further
for them, I'm just gonna
details.
talk a little bit about it, but I'm not gonna fixate on it.
I'm only going to go into detail about the current situation, about what they're actually posting.
I am going to go into current detail about your current situation eventually, but currently I want to discuss the stages that led up to this. So
Yes.
currently, Astronova situation. Most of us heard about it. They tried doing a relationship known as a polymorphous relationship that involves multiple people. They went in seeking. This is just my opinion, though. This is just speculation. They just. My theory is that they went in seeking love. Stuff got complicated, and it ended in a disaster. So
Not making a joke, by the way, not
yeah,
making a
not
joke
making
about
a
the
joke, not
game,
alluding
the
to
original, not making up the
not
original Sonic.exe, the disaster. Rest in peace, by the way, that game was a
yeah,
really good game.
but
Lasted 5 years, I honestly.
yeah,
5
but
years? Wait, really?
yeah,
Damn.
it was in 2020, man.
released in 2020, and it got shut down in like August of 2025, didn't it?
All right. Now, driving back on the topic. So yeah, the only time I would even recommend a polymorphous relationship because is with your all fuck buddies.
Yeah, if you
That's when
got
I
like
would
a
that would be
if you
when I
got one of those
recommend
like
it.
anime relationships where two people like one guy and
Yeah,
they
I get
all
it.
agree to have a poly
Yeah,
relationship.
polymorphous relationships in animes is nothing like how it is in real life. Like I know
Yeah,
exactly
like
what you're talking about.
I know that.
I'm just like I know you know that. I'm just trying to
I was
explain
just
it to the
putting that
public.
spitball out there. Just putting that spitball out there.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, polymorphous relationships. You don't. I mean, you may be going in there looking for love originally, but that's not how you'll end up finding it. Sorry to tell you guys, but sad. It's just the truth of reality.
Unless
And
if
you
you're in some
on
sick
past
love relationship, which
on
I'm
to other
not I'm
topics.
not
I was just
against
explaining the type
poly
of. I'm
relationships.
not against them either. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against them either. I
In
just don't
fact,
recommend
in
it.
my own opinion, I think they're cool as fuck. Not gonna lie.
Like I said, I don't recommend it, but anybody can do what they want to do. It is not my seat to judge
Like I
other
said,
people's
it is.
actions unless they are deliberately like downright evil. For instance, child murder. But that has nothing to do with Astronova or any of the people there. I have to clarify that because that was just an example, but they
I
didn't
thought
do any of
you
that.
know, for a moment, I thought you were trying to refer Epstein for a moment. I was about to
I
be like,
was going to,
yo,
but that would sound much worse, and I wanted to put it in a lighter way, like a better example.
how about
Then,
kidnapping?
I mean, kidnapping would have also worked, but like that's the first thing that came to
Child
mind.
murder, man? Come on.
I mean, that was the first example that came to my mind.
20 minutes in the statement, and we're talking about child murder. Completely unrelated, my
It
man.
is completely unrelated, and like I said, this has nothing to do with Astronova or any of the other dev team. This was just used as an example.
Real
And
quick, I just want to just throw this complete airball out here, real quick. I'm gonna let Goat Boss explain the current situation of what he read on the document.
I'm
Like I said,
getting to
I'm
that.
not like I said, but respectfully, I'm not gonna read all that. And on another note, I'm gonna go make food. I'm gonna let him explain it on both sides, my stream and his stream. So I'll
All
be
right.
right back.
Alright, so I haven't completely read the document yet. Currently, I'm still in the middle of reading it, but I've almost read it. I'm almost past the controversy part, so before I get to that part, um, the events that happened after the Astronova situation. What I assumed happened was that there was residual energy within, like residual hate and violence within the dev team that they just sought to just hate each other. The only reason why I think they're still okay, wait, I'll get to a point later. Like I think this residual energy is then what led up to the more recent stuff, like the videos that came released, all the confusion within Outcome Memories itself with different announcements, both all of them kind of contradicting each other. And then eventually all the documents that were talking about all this bullshit. So in other words, it was all just a bunch of bullshit. And what I think is I just gotta read in between the lines of everything. Gotta sort everything out, sort out all the bullshit. So what I think is happening now is that residual energy from those past relationships is all been stacking up along with the hate against them in the community, which I'll admit is partially their fault. I say that because they knew the hate was happening, but they kept on responding to the hate. And it just created a massive pool of hate. It was just stacking pile on pile on pile on top of each other, creating a very hateful community. That's why if I ever created a game, I'm not gonna do that. But that's for another time. Now, It's just the hate, man, piled up, destroying the dev team itself. And we get on to today's document about everything. Currently, I was reading the part about Raven and how much of this is true. Don't know. I'm just reading it to read it. And currently, I'm on the January 11th. I've not heard of this. Oh, after facing backlash for his video statements about Raven. Okay, so this was about the video. I haven't watched the video myself, but I don't need to. It's clearly biased based off of what I've heard about it. And it likely is just purely bias because there's just a lot of bias. Oh my gosh. So now they're trying to cover up. Welcome the person that joined a little bit late. Oh, there's a comment. You might want to rewind a little bit because I'm in the part where I was talking about what led up to the dev team falling apart. But I need to go to my live because I wasn't actually expecting anybody to join. Bruh. Okay. Never mind. It's just Brayden. Time to roll on with it. Alright. So yeah. Apparently, I'm on the part where the Raven Bonely situation now of the document. January 11th. Where some stuff was bullshitted, some stuff is still bullshitted, just more bullshit. So I'm just going to skip past the bullshit part. And then there's the rape / SA bullshit. Wait. Appended randomly at the end of alt stock were... Okay, well I don't trust alts because it sounds like has a lot of bias. I know they all have a lot of bias, so I'm reading this with I'm trusting all of this with a grain of salt, including the video, which I might watch just to see how biased it is, but kind of judging how things are going, everything's just bias. So it's just coming that questionable things regarding race, so they were completely real. Okay, so these chats apparently were absolutely real. They were apparently real. They were shedding light over Raven until this point. Until they got to the rape part. So apparently, that is real, apparently. But, like I said, I'll take this all with a grain of salt. I'm not sure what it is, but judging how he was glazing in a good way about Raven through, like, pretty much a majority of the document, I might be willing to trust this more than the other parts of the document. And so, still, I would take this all with a grain of salt. So, obviously, the messages that were absolutely fucked up were removed. So, I'm going to go down through here. With the screen. Other than hating Raven and... like I said, apparently real. I read a bit. Obviously, I just read a bit more, And apparently, well, that don't make any fucking sense. Like I said, I'll take this all with a grain of salt. Like, that don't make no fucking sense, man. How are they adding up with the rape allegations and, well, the rape and sexual assault support allegations and shit? So I'm adding up here. The math ain't mathin'. So not only is this document contradicting itself, so because I believe it mentioned earlier in the document, if I recall correctly, I'll go back and see if I can find that part, just in case my memory might be a bit off. Sometimes I forget details. Everybody does. Though if I recall correctly, there is a contradicting statement within the first part of the document. This is a claim about questionable comments or completely taken out of context. Yeah, I was right. This statement that was just issued then was contradicting the thing that was discussed in the beginning of the document. Wow. That's definitely not a clear sign of bias going on and lies. So some bullshit is going on here. So what I'm going to do is just skip past all the bullshit. Obviously, I read through pretty much all the bullshit. Yep. Yeah, we get it. But remember, we gotta remember, this dev team is filled with children. They're definitely wildly immature. Don't get me wrong, I'm also a minor, but yeah, I'm obviously just still a minor as well. But there's just some decisions that are very questionable amongst the dev team that they have made. Yeah, yep. Alright. Now that we've gotten that over with, on to... Is Outcome Memories canceled? Simple answer is no. I knew that part. So they say they quote-unquote shelved the project. We're gonna go move on from the controversy now onto the current state of the game, and then into the future, and then possible outcomes. That was not supposed to be a pun for Outcome Memories, but outcomes of the stuff that's going to be happening in the future. But currently, moving on to current state of the game. The current state of the game's not bad at all. I love this game, and I always will. But there is still some very important issues that need to be said about the game. First one, Tails Doll. Bloody Tails Doll. We'll move on to Colossus, you're next. But Tails Doll, you're right now. I think the proper nerfs that need to be brought to Tails Doll is limit him to 5 mines and make it to where he cannot place right on top of the exit. Also, add attack speed variations to the game. Like, make it to where there's different attack speeds to the game. I feel like that would resolve a number of issues with certain characters, like Tails Doll. His old character, although is just quick paced, quick attacking, that kind of stuff. All the characters do the same attack speed. And since although Tails Doll feels like he attacks quicker, it's probably because his abilities deal just rapid amount of damage very quickly. So what I'm thinking is Tails Doll's normal attack speed should be nerfed a little bit. To the point to where maybe if you're lucky you could get a second hit off during his attacks. Though I feel like that wouldn't really be a good resolution to that issue because it wouldn't really flow with the character correctly. But that is something that they could do at least temporarily until they can figure out the rest. But I do have other ideas for solutions. Nerf the damage for his attacks overall. Again. But the biggest thing is his mines. His laser ability is pretty good, but the mines are the main issue. What I'm thinking is limit him to 5, limit her to 5 mines. Also, I mean by Tails, I meant Tripwire. I keep calling Tripwire Tails Doll. With Tripwire, definitely needs the mines nerfed. I'm not opposed against the fact that some characters are just blatantly not are just like heavily nerfed when they come across Tails. I'm not opposed against that. I feel like that's would great way to implement a character, make it to where certain characters are stronger against certain other characters, or being killers. Make certain survivors stronger against certain killers, that kind of stuff. I'm not opposed against that. What I am opposed against is just Tails all being unbalanced. What I'm thinking is something along the lines of what I just said about Tails all. Definitely less mines, or nerfed mine damage. But I feel like if they want Tails all to have 10 mines, limit it down to 10 damage. Like, I get it. You want the character to have an impact, but like, I get it. They're landmines, but it's just kind of like, come on. If they're gonna deal that much damage, at least nerf them, especially since Tails all gets 10. And even when I play Tails all, I don't end up normally placing all the mines. I don't even really go past 5. Even though I don't really play Tails all that well, I still feel like less mines would be better. Not only for you're just for like the average player, man. Like not even for like pro players as well. But even then, it doesn't take too much skill to play Tails doll correctly. Though I do think the laser feels all right. When I use Tails doll's laser, it feels all right. His attack speed only feels insane because his movement speed is so quick. That is the only reason why his attack speed feels greater than it is. But Colossus, though, yeah, I feel like since he's a heavier, clunkier character, his attack speed needs to be nerfed. Like, actually, like, make it to where killers have different attack speeds, like I said. Because he has that giant metal arm, and I feel like it would just be, not only will it be more realistic, it'll also make the character feel heavier. Because he's supposed to be a heavy damage dealer. That's his whole premise. And I like that direction that they did with Colossus, but here's the thing, he does too much damage. What I'm thinking is to make him feel great, lower his attack speed, and then knock damage off of his abilities. For instance, his spear is charge is fine, perfectly fine. Charge is nice. I like it. I like the way it feels. It feels great, but his grab, no, too much damage. His grab does way too much damage. He shouldn't be able to just grab me, hit me a couple times, throw me, and then, oh yeah, also, make it to where his normal attack, goes on cooldown. What I've seen is that with how they helped better fix Colossus's, charge is that after he charges and hits a wall, he gets stunned a little bit. What I'm thinking is he gets like slowed and he can't attack. What I'm thinking is after he grabs somebody and like yeets them, he can't attack for an extended period of time. I feel like that would make his grab feel more balanced. But I still do feel like it needs to do less damage. Not much less damage. At least 5 across the board. Make it do 20 damage per attack. Because I believe it does 25, if I recall correctly. At least 20 or 15 across the board. That way, he can't just 2-tap you. Using... That way, he can't just stab you and then immediately grab you. Oh, that's the other thing. When he attacks, there should be an extended cooldown period between him attacking and then grabbing. If there's already cooldowns there, they need to be extended. In which I don't think there is, not that I recall. But that's how I feel like the character should be nerfed, me personally. 2011X, he's perfectly fine. He's nice and balanced. I love the way 2011X feels. He's great. I know not too recently he got a damage buff of 5 damage, but that's nothing. That's nothing. That's just with his basic attack. 2011, nice and balanced, like the way he is. But on to the future state of the game, which I don't have great news for. Because seeing how much the dev team hates themselves right now, like each other, and they're like so downright depressed, even within the 6-month period to a year, I don't think they're going to recover enough in order to stick around. What I think is Outcome Memories is going to die. It's going to go down into the grave, all right alongside the disaster. And there's a lot of evidence that supports that. I know what they said, that they're not going to do that. But I don't just go based off somebody's word. I go based off of what I've seen and what I've heard. And what I've seen is that their actions, combined with the contradicting words within their space, it's going to take them a while to even consider getting back. Even if they do stick around this long, my prediction is that they're not going to be back until October of next year. I mean this year, not next year. That or early January next year. One of the two. If they're not back by then, they'll be back never. But I believe that's when they'll dismantle. It'll all fall apart and crumble. And that's my future prediction. Is that Sobi is going to come along and take down Outcome Memories. But what would give me hope if some content were going to be released for the game, like maybe Fleetway. Yes, now I'm talking about Fleetway. The character that was supposed to be done ages ago, still not here. Look, I get it. Your dev team is in shambles. You're all depressed. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, it shouldn't have ever gotten this bad to begin with. But yet again, you're all just kids. They're all just kids. They're all just teenagers. Let's be for real. They went in with a dream and a concept, and it all went to shambles because no one in there could become productive enough to work together and be stable enough once the game got popular. And it's kind of disappointing to see. Actually, no, it's not kind of. It is very disappointing. Very disappointing to see indeed. They decided to simply post their work, or if a creator decided to deploy an EXE, they posted their work. So then, which is it? Like, that part didn't make too much sense there. Oh, well, it says or if a well, it could be for either or reason. And then they just posted their work to fucking post their work, just in case it does go to shambles and it does get canceled. As in, not even the dev team itself is confident that they're gonna stick together. Like, let's be for real. This game is not gonna last that long. I was hoping it would have lasted until at least version 3. That was my original prediction back in October. My prediction now, not even 6 months. Not even then. 3 months. 3 months in, and then boom, they're gone. That is my prediction for the future. Is that everything is gonna go to shit. And eventually Sobe's gonna take down Outcome Memories because there'll be nobody to work on the game. And I'm blaming this partially on the dev team itself. And I'm blaming this on the people that hated on the dev team and just added fuel to the fire. Well, technically, both of them added fuel to the fire. Well, technically, the Outcome Memories dev team fed the haters the fuel that they needed to destroy Outcome. So it's both of them that were that collided together that caused the destruction of Outcome Memories. And it's very, very sad to see that Outcome Memories has gone down this path. But that's pretty much my thoughts on the situation. But onto the far future. Do I believe a game like Outcome Memories will come and rise back up again? At some point. Maybe by someone else. Maybe by somebody. Maybe. But if Outcome Memories does go down the shithole, I know nobody's going to be watching the stream here later anyways. And I think my game just crashed. Oh wait, Brayden sent something more. I mean, Orange sent something more.